So the USA and Israel have conducted a joint strike on Iran. Some are saying this is going to be a very long war like Iraq. Some are saying it's going to be Venezuela. Some like it, some don't. Where do I stand? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the U.S.-Israel joint strike on Iran that happened, I guess, right around 2 a.m. this morning. I was up, get ready to go to bed, and then my phone started dinging. I'm like, uh-oh, something going on. And I checked, we didn't hit Iran. And it's all kind of news from everywhere. They said it was Israel at first. Then they said it was U.S. and Israel. Then they said a bunch of schoolgirls got eliminated by a U.S. drone. There's all kind of stuff going on. Let me just tell you where I'm at first. I think this is a good thing. And I know some of y'all going to be like, oh, ABL, how could you? How could you support war? You're supposed to be anti-war. Well, look, I don't see a war coming. Let me be very clear. I don't see a war coming. This looks like Venezuela and less like Iraq, in my humble opinion. Venezuela, they were in and out 15 minutes. This may not be 15 minutes, but it may not be 20 years like Iraq, Afghanistan, all of that. I don't think we're going to get into the business of nation building, but we will get into the business of freeing the Iranian people. Now, before I go any further, let's get straight to some clips. Of course, I've uploaded quite a few things. I've uploaded Trump's comments, Benjamin Netanyahu, Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince of Iran, who was in exile. I've uploaded all their clips, but let's just see this right here. This is from a couple of days ago, I believe, before the strike happened, where Trump was saying, hey, we got a tough decision to make. Although we didn't name names, you knew what he was talking about. After we get done with this, we're going to get into how this helps us and who all is involved, aside from the USA, Israel, and Iran. Check it out.
We're hot. Our country is the hottest country in the world. America is back. Our economy is roaring, and our country is strong, and we're respected again. They're respecting us again. China respects us. Russia respects us. They all respect, and they respect your president. They respect, and I respect them. We've got a lot of things going on. Now we have a big decision to make. You know that. Not easy. Not easy. We have a very big decision to make. We have a country that's been, for 47 years, blowing people's legs off, arms off, the face. They've been knocking out ships, killing people, lots of people, not only Americans, lots of people. It's been terrible.
So there you have it. Now, the 47 years is in reference to when the Iranians became controlled by the Islamic regime. Prior to 1979, Iran was more like the U.S. They were not like us specifically, like exactly like us, but they were more similar to us. It was more of a democracy. If you wanted to be a Muslim, you could be. If you wanted to be Christian, you could be. If you wanted to be Zoroastrian, if you wanted to be Buddhist, if you wanted to be Hindu, whatever you wanted to be in Iran, you could be that. But now there is no choice. You're a woman, wear this hijab or face dire consequences. Go to the penitentiary or you might die. Now, speaking about Trump, remember when Venezuela happened? What was that, last month now? Trump said to the Iranian people, help is on the way. When he said that, they went out to the streets and protested because that was their time. They saw that as an opportunity to be free from the Islamic regime. Now, when they did that, many of them, many thousands of them were killed. I'm seeing numbers. The number I saw from a source, like an article, and I linked to it in the box, was 36,500. So right around 40,000 of them were killed by the regime. And also what I've been told by the Iranian people is the days after that, the regime were going door to door looking for anybody that's sympathetic toward Trump or does not want the regime there. And even if you weren't political, you were being killed execution style with a gun, getting shot in the back of your head. Hundreds of them per day. This was an ongoing humanitarian crisis. So for that alone, our presence is welcomed. And you're going to see celebration videos all over the internet, just like you saw in Venezuela. Now, let's keep on going here. We got a little bit more to get into. Okay, now here are the targets that they were aiming at. Check it out.
Strikes from the U.S. side have targeted military and security targets. So things like headquarters units and potentially warehouses. We're still working on specifics on exactly what they have hit, but think about things that are related specifically to the Iranian ballistic missile program and potentially their nuclear program. The Israelis, on the other hand, according to officials who we're speaking with, have been more focused on Iranian leadership targets. Now, not long after these strikes began and the U.S. acknowledged them and the Israeli military, Iran began a very swift and widespread retaliatory effort. Now, we know that they have targeted at least 6 different nations. They have targeted the Israeli military in Israel with ballistic missiles so far. At this point, most, if not all of those missiles have been intercepted or shot down.
Now, they also hit Bahrain, UAE. I think they hit Qatar. I may be wrong about that. Y'all correct me, but I know they hit Bahrain, UAE. I think they hit Kuwait, and there was also another place, but you guys fill me in. So there were quite a few retaliatory strikes. Okay. And in Bahrain, I think they hit one of our targets, but I'm not quite sure about any U.S. casualties as of yet. But when you do a military strike, of course, you're going to expect some casualties. Now, let's go here. Speaking about other nations involved, the Saudis are involved because the Iranians hit one of their assets and they don't like that. So check it out.
What I can say is new right now. We're just getting word that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia says they will join the U.S. in the operation against the Islamic Republic of Iran. They said that this comes in the wake of Iran attacking the U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. I just spoke to a senior U.S. official who said the Iranians made a big mistake by firing on Arab coalition partners. Now they are likely to respond. So by Iran firing missiles at UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Jordan, they are now likely to fire back at Iranian targets. So those coalition partners are now going to enter this operation that started off as a U.S.-Israeli operation. That is very, very significant, and we haven't seen that happen in the past. The U.S. military has been focusing on high-value targets, I'm told, the IRGC, significant facilities. What I can say.
All right, there we go. So I was right. It did hit Qatar. Very bad decision. Not a very smart decision on the behalf of the Iranian regime. And shout out to the Iranian people. I've not seen any anti-Israel or anti-U.S. protests inside of Iran or anywhere else by Iranian people. What I'm seeing inside of Iran, outside of Iran, are Iranian people celebrating what the U.S. and Israel did for helping them begin to be free of the oppressive Iranian regime. Now, let's keep on going here. All right. Now, I got to show Stephen Crowder. Stephen Crowder, you did very good, bro. I'm going to give you flowers when you need them. I'm going to give you credit when you deserve it, bro. This is a breakdown of why this is important to us. How will this campaign, how will this effort impact the USA in a positive way? We know how it's going to affect them because the Iranian people are being basically held captive by this regime. But freeing them is one thing. How will it help us? Let's check it out.
The United States and Iran. Is it in our interest to prevent Iran from becoming some kind of a serious nuclear power? Well, you could go down the list, go to the largest sponsor, state sponsor of terrorism. Of course, there's that choke point next to the Strait of Hormuz. About a quarter of global oil and a fifth of natural gas go through there. 80% of Iranian oil goes to China. There have been alleged assassination attempts and plots on U.S. leaders, including President Trump. I would also say that, President Trump put himself on the hook for the protesters, saying that if you guys kill protesters, it's going to be bad for you, which is also why I think the timing right now, this has been poorly executed if something does happen. But it is super important, again, because I see black pillars out there going, this is a huge betrayal. That is not a valid argument. President Trump has been saying since at least 2011. Here's 2011. I believe this is a quote from President Trump, right?
Yes.
America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy its nuclear ambitions. Let me put them as plainly as I know how. Iran's nuclear program must be stopped by any and all means necessary. Period. We cannot allow this radical regime to acquire a nuclear weapon that they will either use or hand off to terrorists. Okay, so we go, don't care about Israel and Iran. Does the United States have its own separate conflict with Iran? The answer is yes.
All right, there we go. So that's what's happening out there. Now, as far as being a state sponsor of terrorism, that's a big thing because the Houthi rebels, that's funded by the Iranians. There's all kind of terror that happens all over the world. And of course, their connection to China and Russia. You see what's happening with Cuba. Okay, Cuba is an interesting piece here. And that's part of the reason why we want to have some kind of administrative takeover, because if not, then the vacuum that Cuba has as far as money, power, leadership, anything, that'll be filled by the Chinese, the Russians, basically the Iranians, fueled by the Iranians. So that would be a threat to us over here. The same thing they were trying to do with Venezuela, you see. So it's kind of a chess game to keep everybody in check. Let the Iranians have their freedom rather than being used as a pawn in an effort against the U.S. and an effort against the West. I think, as I close, the Iranian people would rather have a Western style system than what they have right now. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be the United States. Of course, they have their own culture, their own everything. They're not us. They're not China or Russia either. They want to be themselves. And if they want to be Muslim, they want to be Christian, Zoroastrian, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever they want to be, they should be able to have that freedom to be that way. And by allowing them to have that freedom, by ridding them of the oppressive Islamic regime, we're also able to have more stability in the Middle East. They're not very popular with the Middle Eastern neighbors. The Saudis don't like what they did. The Moroccans put out a statement against them. You didn't hit Qatar, UAE, you didn't hit all of that. Now, as I close, I want to say one more thing. Some are going to say this is a war for Israel. I think that the Israelis are basically the United States Part 2, a mini USA. We need them like they need us. Who else in that region could have done what the Israelis did? I'll wait. What other European power? What, the United Kingdom, knuckle jaggers, what, Germany, some barbarians? Like, who going to do it aside from them right there in Israel? I'm just trying to understand, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this strike on Iran? Are you against it? Are you for it? Are you somewhere in between? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. Here's where I'm at, my final piece on this for now. I will talk more about it later. Obviously, we got a stream tonight and everything, but here's my final piece for now. I think that if they're able to do this precisely and quickly without having it be long and drawn out like Iraq and Afghanistan was, with no resolution, with no actual, it shouldn't just be a fake war to generate money. If it's that, then I'm against it. But if it's a decisive strike to rid them of the regime and press forward quickly, then I'm for it. Simple as that. We'll see. As of right now, it looks like Venezuela, which was exactly what I said, in and out, thief in the night. You want this guy out? Okay, he's out. Now the people can do what they want to do. They're getting money going back to them rather than going to China, Russia, etc. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.